When water reaches dry land, biological activity resumes under extreme pressure. In this environment, a brief delay is sufficient to determine survival or loss. Dry terrain begins to change. When water appears, biological activity returns immediately. The process is intense and rapid and cannot be halted. Grazing herds arrive in large numbers. Their movement is followed by predators already positioned nearby. Individual silhouettes shift across the landscape. Each step alters the balance between survival and death. In this region, mercy does not exist. There is no opportunity to correct mistakes. Physiological stress remains constant. Each moment carries a high risk of mortality. This is an undeveloped wild system. It has not been modified by human control. Here, biological processes are fully visible and highly lethal. Most of the Kalahari is arid. Wildlife in this region depends on water formed far from this location. Early year rainfall falls on northern mountains and high plateaus. Water accumulates and flows slowly through river channels across grasslands. The water does not reach the ocean. It moves inland and penetrates sand and dry soil. As water levels spread, aquatic vegetation appears along channels and low-lying areas. Young grasses grow densely. This creates feeding conditions for antelope, African buffalo, and zebra. Elephants move along flooded corridors. Their movement opens pathways between grasslands and wetlands. Hippopotamus occupy deep channels. Fish reproduce rapidly in temperate waters. Water birds appear in high density. They use wetlands for resting and feeding. As water withdraws slowly, the terrain leaves ponds, channels, and grass islands. These features maintain food availability for extended periods. Predators follow the distribution of prey. This creates a large-scale concentration of animal populations. From the dry base of the Kalahari, the Okavango Delta forms. It functions as a major inland ecological center in Africa. As water levels begin to spread into the Okavango, African elephants appear early along major movement routes. With a population exceeding 130,000 individuals, this region maintains the largest remaining elephant population. This dense presence does not occur by chance. Herds enter by following water sources and remain aligned with corridors formed over many seasons. The ability to detect water at long distances determines migration timing. Water sources may lie deep beneath dry sand and are still located accurately. Upon reaching these areas, elephants use their trunks and front feet to dig downward and create shallow water holes. These water points are reused repeatedly and attract many other species. The ground becomes compacted and pathways widen gradually over time. When moving through dense vegetation, elephants break through thick plant cover. Young trees are snapped. Dense shrubs are opened into passageways. The landscape becomes more open and allows grazing species to access new areas. Elephant movement routes therefore function as ecological pathways. They are used throughout the flood season and continue into the dry season. Body size produces clear environmental effects. An adult individual can reach a height of approximately 13 feet. Body weight ranges from about 13,000 to 15,000 pounds. Daily vegetation intake can reach roughly 440 pounds. Water demand is high and can reach about 53 gallons per day. Access to water therefore becomes the primary priority. Water points experience continuous pressure, and herds are forced to disperse across wider areas. Movement is not fixed at a single location. Herds change position according to water levels, food availability, and ground stability. When water recedes, elephants expand their range and access newly exposed grasslands. When water rises, they return to higher ground and familiar corridors. In the Okavango, elephants are not only early arrivals, they also maintain long-term movement patterns for the entire large animal community. Each step leaves clear marks on the ground. These movements reshape living space by season, year after year. African buffalo appear in large groups and are widely distributed across open grasslands. Movement formations remain tight and maintain stable spacing between individuals. Activity continues throughout the day and focuses on feeding and monitoring surroundings. When herds stop, the ground is rapidly affected by large numbers grazing simultaneously. Body size has a direct impact on vegetation. An adult individual can weigh up to about 2,200 pounds. Shoulder height can exceed about 5 feet. Hoof pressure compresses young grass and breaks mature stems. High-intensity grazing prevents grass from growing tall. This maintains a low and uniform grass layer. These grasslands become suitable for smaller grazing species. As buffalo move, changes occur across wide bands. Tall grass is removed. Open gaps appear. Young vegetation regrows faster in recently disturbed areas. Antelope and zebra often follow buffalo herds and use newly exposed grass. Ground-feeding birds enter disturbed areas to locate insects. Dense buffalo presence also affects how predators use space. Large herds create easily identifiable concentration points. Approach routes form along herd edges where weaker or separated individuals may occur. Hunting activity, therefore, remains closely linked to buffalo movement patterns. During the dry season, buffalo concentrate near fixed water sources. Pressure on grass and soil increases sharply. When water spreads, herds disperse and expand feeding range. This cycle repeats annually and keeps grass height and density under continuous control. Without occupying fixed territory, buffalo still maintain long-term influence on grassland structure. Continuous grazing prevents accumulation of old grass. This reduces the risk of large fires during the dry season. Low grass allows many other species to access food more easily and move more efficiently. Within the predator community of the Okavango, lions hold the highest position in spatial control. Their presence is linked to areas with stable prey density. These areas include wetland edges and grasslands adjacent to water. Hunting activity does not occur in isolation. It is based on a clear pride structure with defined positions during target approach. Seasonal flooding forces lions to adjust strategy. Movement routes commonly follow elevated ground channel banks and trails created by large animals. Shallow water does not fully block movement. It affects speed and direction of approach. Ambush site selection therefore focuses on junctions between short grass and soft mud. In these locations, prey mobility is more easily reduced. Group hunting allows control over large areas. Some individuals block escape routes. Other individuals drive prey toward predefined zones. Successful hunts usually occur quickly. They rely on surprise and precise coordination. After a kill, the pride occupies the area briefly. Movement resumes to reduce competition. The influence of lions is not limited to the number of prey taken. Regular presence causes grazing species to alter movement routes. High-risk areas are avoided. This disperses grazing pressure. Vegetation structure around flooded zones is indirectly affected. During high water seasons, lion activity range contracts around dry ground. When water recedes, available space expands. Prides gain access to newly exposed grasslands. This cycle produces clear shifts in the distribution of both prey and predators. Among Okavango predators, cheetahs are strongly affected by seasonal terrain change. Hunting success depends on dry, flat ground and long sight lines. When water spreads, these conditions disappear quickly. Cheetahs are forced to reduce activity range. Open grasslands that once supported short chases become fragmented by channels and soft mud. Running paths are interrupted. Speed loses maximum effectiveness. Each acceleration carries risk of slipping or loss of balance. Approach distance must be shorter. Success probability declines. Hunting space becomes compressed around elevated ground and wetland edges. Grazing animal density increases in these areas. Competition with other predators also increases. Cheetahs often abandon a kill when larger competitors arrive. Prey loss rate, therefore, rises. It can reach up to 1/2 of successful hunts. This change directly affects survival strategy. Cheetahs prioritize smaller and more controllable targets. Post-kill contact time is reduced. Extended hunts become rare. Approaches are fast and end quickly. Attention attraction is limited. When water recedes, ground conditions stabilize. Open spaces expand again. Cheetahs rapidly return to familiar hunting routes. Wide space allows acceleration capability to be used. This favorable phase does not last. Continuous flood and retreat cycles keep advantage temporary. In the Okavango, cheetahs do not maintain long-term dominance. Each high water season compresses space. Hunting behavior must adjust to terrain conditions. Dependence on speed increases sensitivity to environmental change. Failure rate remains a constant element of survival strategy. Leopards are distributed throughout the Okavango. Activity signs concentrate in areas with complex terrain. Hunting space does not extend across open grasslands. It is divided by water, vegetation, and elevated ground patches. This requires a different approach than that used by other large predators. Rather than continuous movement, leopards remain within limited ranges. Mounds, termite structures, and raised islands serve as control points. From these positions, grazing animal movement is clearly observed. Approach distance is shortened. Extended pursuit is unnecessary. Hunts usually end within seconds after attack. After a kill, carcass control becomes decisive. Leopards quickly remove prey from the ground. Prey is pulled into trees or elevated positions. Three-dimensional space is fully utilized. Detection and interference risk is reduced. Consumption can continue over longer periods. Hunting range stability is maintained for several days. When water levels rise, space contracts, but activity structure remains similar. Elevated points continue to be reused. When water recedes, available positions increase. Leopards maintain a strategy focused on strong visibility and complex terrain. Hyenas are widely distributed across the Okavango. They are highly active in areas with high densities of carcasses and live prey. Signs of their presence commonly appear around former kill sites, grassland edges, and movement routes of large grazing animals. Body structure allows access to food resources that many other species cannot process. This enables hyenas to maintain stable presence across multiple seasons. A highly developed jaw system produces very strong bite force. It is sufficient to break thick bones. Remaining parts of prey after hunts are utilized almost completely. Bones, tendons, and dense tissue can all be consumed. This reduces residual organic material in the environment. It also maintains energy supply for the clan during periods of food scarcity. Feeding activity occurs rapidly. Time spent at a single location is minimized. Clan organization follows a clear structure. Adult individuals maintain stable order during movement and feeding access. Large clans can reach several dozen individuals. This provides numerical advantage when occupying resources. Coordination allows control over wide areas. These areas include hunting grounds and resting sites. Movement routes are reused repeatedly. A fixed activity network is formed over time. When approaching a carcass hyena, clans act decisively. Short processing time reduces interruption risk. Juvenile individuals begin feeding early. This supports physical condition during development. Food distribution occurs within the clan. Loss to external competitors is limited. During high water seasons, hyenas concentrate around dry ground bands and areas where prey is compressed. When water recedes, activity range expands across newly exposed grasslands. This cycle repeats consistently. Food availability for the clan is maintained year-round. In upper airspace, vultures operate continuously across large areas. High, stable flight paths allow coverage of multiple zones at the same time. When a carcass appears, concentration forms rapidly. From distances of several miles, target locations are identified. Detection relies on unusual ground movement and aggregation of other species. Upon arrival, feeding proceeds quickly. Order is clearly established. Time spent at the site is reduced to limit prolonged contact. Remaining tissue after large predators feed is rapidly processed. Little material remains. As a result, carcasses do not persist long in open environments. Digestive capacity is the key factor. Stomach acid levels are extremely high. Most dangerous bacteria and toxins in decaying tissue are neutralized. Pathogens such as anthrax and botulinum cannot survive passage through this digestive system. Carrion consumption, therefore, does not become a source of disease spread. Vulture activity often follows movement routes of large herbivore herds and frequent hunting areas. They do not occupy ground space. After feeding ends, the area is rapidly cleared. No decomposing material remains. Maribou storks are common along wetland edges and shallow waters of the Okavango. Tall posture and slow movement allow efficient activity in areas rich in decomposing material. Food sources are primarily easily accessible. Dead fish wash ashore. Frogs weaken after water retreat. Insects concentrate densely on mudflats. Foraging continues throughout the day. Storks move along water margins. Each small gap is inspected. When a fish carcass or weakened organism is detected, approach is rapid and precise. Food resources ignored by other species are fully utilized. Accumulation of decomposing biomass is reduced. A long, strong bill structure allows processing of diverse food types. Soft carcasses are swallowed whole. Harder material is broken into smaller parts before consumption. This process occurs directly on mud surfaces or damp grass. Extended occupation of a single location is unnecessary. Maribou stork presence is most evident after water retreat phases. As water levels drop, many aquatic organisms become trapped and gradually die. This is the period of highest activity density. Environmental cleanup occurs rapidly. Areas previously dense with fish remains become clear again. Among predators on the African continent, this group has experienced the strongest population decline. The total population currently numbers approximately 6,000 individuals. They are scattered and divided into many small groups. Survival depends directly on coordination and collective hunting efficiency. Hunting activity follows clear formations. Individuals move simultaneously and maintain appropriate spacing to surround the target. When pursuit begins, prey movement direction is controlled from multiple sides. Continuous pressure causes prey to fatigue rapidly. Hunts usually conclude within a short time. Energy expenditure for the group is reduced. After prey is brought down, food distribution occurs immediately at the site. No individual is excluded from access to food. Individuals that did not directly participate in the hunt still receive a share. This energy use strategy maintains uniform physical condition within the pack. It is especially important in areas with limited prey availability. Care of offspring does not occur individually. Young are protected and fed by multiple adult individuals. This increases survival rate during early life stages. Independent movement and danger avoidance remain limited at this time. The pack therefore maintains a stable structure over long periods. Ecological influence is clearly expressed through control of grazing animal numbers. Hunts focus on weak, slow, or separated individuals. This pressure prevents prey populations from increasing excessively. Overuse of grasslands and water resources is avoided. Habitat structure is therefore maintained in a stable state. Conditions remain suitable for coexistence of multiple species. When packs move, activity routes change continuously. Hunting space is not overused at a single location. This rotation helps maintain balance between prey vegetation and other predators in the area. Although remaining numbers are limited, ecological role remains clear. Efficient hunting, cohesive pack structure, and direct impact on grazing populations make this species a key factor. Their presence supports biodiversity maintenance across African ecosystems. Hippopotamus are densely distributed within channels and deep pools of the Okavango. During daylight hours, most time is spent in water. Temperature remains stable and cover is high. Individuals form small groups or large clusters. They occupy familiar channel sections The water surface becomes the primary living space during strong daylight. As light levels decrease, movement begins. Hippopotamus leave the water along fixed paths. They move into grasslands adjacent to wetlands. These routes are reused repeatedly. Deep grooves form in the ground. Movement along narrow corridors connects resting areas with feeding sites. Unnecessary range expansion is limited. Primary food consists of dense, low-growing grass. Each individual consumes a large quantity in a single night. This intake supports physical condition within seasonally flooded environments. After feeding, hippopotamus return to water before daylight. This cycle repeats consistently. Daily variation is minimal. Defecation occurs mainly in water. Organic rich waste is dispersed by body movement. Material mixes into slow-flowing pools and channels. This nutrient input supports algae, microorganisms, and benthic organisms. Fish and aquatic animals benefit directly from continuous nutrient addition. Fixed movement paths of hippopotamus gradually widen and deepen. A network of shallow channels forms across the floodplain. Water spreads along these grooves into surrounding dry areas when levels rise. When water recedes, channels continue to guide flow. Soil and grass moisture is maintained. Hippopotamus presence is therefore linked to local hydrological structure. Feeding, movement, and defecation form a continuous cycle. Water and nutrient distribution are directly affected. In the Okavango, hippopotamus-formed channels play a key role. Wetlands, grasslands, and aquatic communities are connected across wide areas. Dawn begins with sound signals spreading across the landscape. Lions produce low, distant roars that establish activity range. Low-frequency elephant vibrations travel through air and ground. These signals are detected over long distances. Above, weaver birds produce short, repeated calls. These signals mark nesting zones and food sources. Below, water-edge frogs vocalize simultaneously. These sounds reflect water level and environmental conditions. Each sound carries clear information. Location is indicated. Timing is indicated. State is indicated. Direct contact is unnecessary. Visual cues are unnecessary. The entire landscape is covered by an active signal network. This network changes by hour and by season. In wild nature, only survival pressure exists. Each species participates within a tightly linked network. Within the flooded plains of the Okavango, each individual presence holds defined function. Food chains operate through stability of connected links. When one species declines or disappears, biological order becomes imbalanced. Ecosystems respond through chain reaction. No space remains unused.